It's Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
Definitely getting adjusted to the stadium. Like I said, got to get used to the balls coming out of the lights, because when you're outside, you can kind of find the ball a little bit faster. So I already know right now I am not wearing a visor during the season, because I could not find the ball all day today. But for the most part, getting used to the footing out here with the turf and things like that. So everything went well. Can't wait to get it going Saturday when it's kind of count for something.
There he is, Pat P, the legendary. And just to make this official here, this is Purple Daily, presented by Surly Brewing Company. And Declan, we're going to throw away that old intro for the YouTube audience and give you this one here. Daily Vikings Entertainment, presented by Surly from the TCL studios. Enjoy more of what you love with TCL. We are officially now... We are just anything Surly wants us to do, basically. Whether it's Stone Cold Steve Austining some beers like Judd, we're just here at their beck and call. It's going to be a fun partnership throughout the next year.
I don't know what you're talking about, Phil.
There he is, rocking it right now. Boys, Judd Zulgad on ScoreNorth.com has a depth chart update. It is training camp Christmas morning here, boys. You have done, and you've been out there sort of scouting
the background,
video feeds of content. So, so what's the framework here? How are we setting this up?
So I've been to every practice so far, but the majority of them all of them until Saturday were, of course, at TCO. And so I'm on the field and I'm shooting stuff for decks to post to our Twitter account and things like that. But it's hard to get a grasp of exactly who's where consistently when you're trying to shoot the highlights and then also take notes. But Saturday, I was in the press box, so I had the all 22 view, the scouts view of things.
Football.
So let's just say that I took some copious notes. 3 teams deep, boys. 3 teams deep.
And I don't know if we need to go through every I think you should just give us what are your main takeaways?
I got some highlights for you.
Okay. Cool.
But so I got done. I went home. I sat down and I said, okay, I'm going to do depth charts 3 deep, which you can find at ScoreNorth.com. But what can I enjoy it with? Because I don't want to just do the depth charts, because you know what? What fun is that?
Right.
But when you have your favorite beer, Surly Furious, the IPA, well, let's just say it's a lot more fun. So thanks to our presenting sponsor, I am as happy as I've been. I haven't been this, and it's not because of sports. I haven't been this happy about something probably since I was about 5.
Sorry, Don.
The affiliation.
Sorry, marriage. Sorry.
No, the marriage is great. The marriage is fantastic. I love Dawn. I love her very much. She knows that. But until now, I don't think anybody knew. They thought, oh, Judd just likes to drink beer. Any old beer will do. That's not true. Surly Furious. You do, if I may get the tagline in now, enough settling in life, crack open a Surly Furious, and enjoy the IPA that revolutionized, that's right, revolutionized Minnesota craft beer. Don't settle. Get surly.
Football.
And as somebody tweeted, the irony of Judd is that he's only not surly when he's talking about surly.
Wow, that is deep irony. Irony right there.
That was a good point. That was a good point. But yes, so I have highlights for you. So I'm not going to go through quarterback Kirk Cousins, second quarterback. All right, number 1. And I teased this with you boys on Purple After Dark last night, but I think it's worth talking about because I don't know what it means right now. It could mean bad things and it could just mean transitional things. Wyatt Davis, 3rd-round pick from Ohio State, who we all thought had a really good chance, I think we all thought this, correct me if I'm wrong, to be the opening day right guard. Wyatt Davis is not with the first team. Wyatt Davis is not with the second team. Wyatt Davis is behind Oli Udoh and Dakota Dozier with the third team. What do we think that means?
I don't like it.
Well, I see Declan's reaction there, but if he's good enough to be in the mix for starting right guard, he would be. So it means that he's not. And that's fine. He's a 3rd-round pick. Maybe people just pumped his tires a little bit too much in the lead up to the draft. It doesn't mean that he's not eventually going to be a starting caliber offensive lineman, but right now it means that maybe he's behind. And this goes into on Mackey and Judd on statements today. I told you guys let's give Oli Udoh a chance. I'm saying it just as much for me. And I stand by the things that I've said in terms of you're going into a win now season, and at right guard, you're literally putting Samia and Dozier in a competition, two of the worst offensive linemen last year in all of football, with a guy in Oli Udoh who has played a few snaps in the NFL, but only 34, most of them in Week 17 of 2019, and all of them at right tackle. So it's a completely this is like biting off a lot for Oli Udoh here to just be a 17-game starter at right guard in the NFL. But I think, if you look at, and I did the deep dive into the scouting reports this weekend, just to find out more. If this is going to be the starting right guard, what's he good at, what's he not? The things that scouting reports criticize him for are mostly right tackle related things, not being nimble enough or quick enough on the edge against great edge rushers. So you move him inside, maybe some of those things are alleviated. But I'm sort of past, why isn't Wyatt Davis in the mix? Like, well, do you think that they'd probably put him in the mix if they thought that he could help solve a problem that's that's a big one for the Vikings right now, and he's just not good enough or ready yet. So
I guess my question off of that point is this: were we all over our skis a bit there, or is Wyatt Davis not as good as they expected? And I don't know. The only thing that leads me to believe that the latter might come into play here is Oli Udoh was moved to guard right before camp started, so clearly they got jittery about this. It's almost like the plan was to have Davis compete with Dozier, and then they're like, this isn't going to work out very well. And because with the first team reps that the Vikings started to take on Saturday, Udoh was the right guard, and now Dakota Dozier rotated in and took first team snaps too. So this competition's not done yet.
Yeah.
The point being, though, is that they have basically convinced themselves in the span of 2 weeks, if that Oli can move from tackle to guard to now potentially be the starting guard. So
another thing here too is we've kind of cautioned the entire offseason, just because you drafted a guy in the first round and the third round doesn't mean that boom, they're going to be the best version of themselves in the NFL week 1, ready to rock and roll. And we've always kind of been saying, it's great that you're fixing the defense and here's a Dalvin Tomlinson contract and a Pat Peterson contract, but boy, are you sure about having potentially 2 rookies or Dakota Dozier back at one of these positions, along the offensive line? And I think my biggest takeaway here is when you look back, going back to the league year opening up in March and free agency, the Vikings were never all that serious about fixing their offensive line. And you compare to the Chiefs, for instance. The NFL Network was live at Chiefs camp this morning, and they were doing a deep dive into their offensive line overhaul this offseason. They traded a first-round pick for Orlando Brown Jr. They spent $17 million a year on a huge contract for Joe Thuney that they made room for by restructuring the contract of their starting quarterback to go from $35 million in cap hit to $7 million for Pat Mahomes. And then they signed a new starting center in Austin Blythe, and that was only a $1 or $2 million contract. But they said, we're not doing that again. That thing that happened in the Super Bowl, we're putting an end to that. We're going to get the best left guard in the free agency. No, we're going to get one of the best left tackle options in the trade market, and we're going to get the best left guard option in free agency. That is taking your offensive line seriously. The Vikings were kind of like, yeah. We'll get this Wyatt Davis. He's a good value pick in the 3rd round, and okay, we'll get rid of a league average left tackle and cross our fingers that a rookie can step in off an injury in Christian Darrisaw and be ready to rock. And it's in week 1, it's kind of looking like Rashad Hill's going to be your left tackle, and your right guard's going to have either 0 experience or be Samia or Dozier. So,
and Rashad Hill,
cross your fingers,
has been here a long time. He knows the system. He's a good backup. He can play left or right tackle, but he in no way should ever be your starting left tackle. He should not start. He is a good guy to have if a guy gets hurt. He is not. There's no way that they sat down in March and said, Rashad Hill, we're comfortable. 0 chance. So, wide receiver depth chart. Ooh. So, on Saturday, Jefferson sat out with the sprained AC joint in his shoulder. Thielen sat out because he got shaken up late in Friday's practice, but declined to say what's wrong, and it does not appear to be serious. And D.D. Westbrook continues to sit because of an ACL that I think he tore the ACL last October with the Jaguars. And he has returned some punts in practice, but that's it. So he is not taking part in team drills, and he really is not taking part in receiver drills per se. So here was your first team wide receiver class going 3 deep Saturday. KJ Osborne 1.
All right.
I'm comfortable with that. He's looked great so far.
He's the odds-on Mr. Mankato favorite. Right now.
Declan's not going to like what I say next. Because the second one
Don't you dare.
was Chad Beebe.
Why is this still a thing?
And the third one was Iowa draft pick Amir Smith Marset.
Trust the
All
process.
three got time with the first team Saturday. Kirk didn't look good. It might have been partially because of that.
So
but your
D.D.
next three
Westbrook
up,
is he just not healthy enough to be doing this?
I don't think
Is
so.
that what's
No,
happening?
he's not.
Okay.
He's not, and he's not doing a thing. And I don't know when he is. Right now, I think there's a very good chance that KJ Osborne is going to be your third receiver September 12th against the Bengals.
Listen, I'm kind of excited about what the Vikings have behind Jefferson and Thielen. Smith Marset, upside. I think when D.D. Westbrook gets back in, whenever that is, he could be the third option. And then KJ Osborne, I mean, I think his stock has fallen just because he wasn't nearly as good as a returner as everyone kind of thought he was going to be last year, but he's showing himself in camp. So they've got a nice little set of like 5 or 6 guys, and then Chad Beebe, we'll see what happens there.
He's not that bad, Declan.
He's got the bloodlines. I don't know why Declan rips
He's
him
not
so
that
much.
bad.
This is his 4th season. Are we going to do this
Yeah.
or not, Chad? What are we doing here?
We are going to do it.
What are we doing?
We're doing it again. We're running it back.
It's the 4th time we're hearing about the Chad Beebe saga. For God's sakes, just someone else take the job.
Declan,
Your
you get
level
so
of
mad
angst is
about
so
weird things.
disproportionate to no one else is talking about Chad Beebe except you.
Except for me.
And you're so mad about it. Like
I just don't get it.
he's not great, but he can fill a role. He's not going to.
He's a guy
Yeah.
on a roster. Yeah, he's whatever. It's fine.
Congrats.
It's fine.
All right. Defensive side of the football. Everyone is saying right defensive end. Who starts? Who's the backup? Danielle Hunter will play left and right side, so he will switch, which is going to be a positive in not allowing opposing teams to know where he's going to be lined up. Stephen Weatherly, though, from what I saw Saturday, your uncontested starter. It's not a competition. DJ Wanham, who had, I believe it was a 31-yard return of a pick that he had from Jake Browning, second team. Now, this does not mean that these two won't certainly both play with the first team, but I think the starter, at least September 12th, against Cincinnati, is going to be Weatherly. Want him as the backup. Not going to be absolutely shocked if that has a potential to begin to change, though, as the season progresses.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think, Weatherly is the safe option. I think it would make sense if you just feel like we just need a professional who's played, 1,000, 2,000 snaps in his NFL career. We're just looking for someone that knows how to play, that's reliable, that can be relatively healthy. And then from there, if you decide that Wanham or one of the rookies that you drafted is just up to speed and has more upside, I think it feels like Weatherly is a good little placeholder for the first week 1, week 2, week 3, and then we'll kind of see. I don't think there's any. Now, maybe there's another level to his game. He's not. He's still in his prime. He's 26, 27 years old. But I just feel like, you're not unleashing a 12 or 15 sack guy.
It's
or
Strahan. What are you talking about,
top
Phil?
10 pressures guy.
Michael Strahan, okay?
So, but then again, could Stephen Weatherly reap benefits similar to the way Ray Edwards did 10 years ago, where you've got Hall of Fame edge rusher on the other side, and then 2 absolute monsters in the middle taking up space, and then you just sort of get yours because the attention has to be paid to those other 3 guys. So I could see whether it's Weatherly or somebody else sort of feasting just because they get a one-on-one matchup that's more favorable. So we'll see. Okay.
Football.
Cornerbacks. I think I got your starters. Pat P, no surprise. Mackenzie Alexander is going to be the inside guy in the nickel, almost certainly. But the competition is actually Bashad Breeland and Cam Dantzler for the other outside corner spot opposite Patrick Peterson. Bashad Breeland is going to start.
Okay.
Bashad Breeland. And
tell him to stop injuring Justin Jefferson in practice, and then maybe I'll be on board with that.
So
maybe just stay about 7 feet away. Social distance yourself from Justin Jefferson.
Well, there's just no reason to hit Justin. You know what? Don't impress me by making a play. Like, he'll get hit enough once the season starts. Don't try and impress me, man. I don't need you to be so close that he falls on his bleeping shoulder and gets hurt. Second team corners are Dantzler and Alexander. Third team, and this is a good thing, Harrison Hand and our special teams buddy, Chris Boyd. So I think the corners now are logically falling where they probably should. A year ago, they were not.
Yeah,
that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, too many guys way too high up on the depth chart last year. Speaking of great positional races, I've got some great actual races for you guys to check out at Brainerd International Raceway. The NHRA Lucas Oil Nationals are coming to town this upcoming August 18th to the 22nd, I should say, at Brainerd International Raceway. And every ticket comes with a pit pass, so fans can meet with racers and watch them up close at nearly 330 miles per hour, almost as fast as Justin Jefferson when lined up one-on-one against Bashad Breeland in Vikings practice. There's something for everyone, and you can check out ticket and camping packages at BIRMN.com. BIRMN.com.
Football.
Do you want some more?
We want some more.
I got a couple more.
We want some more.
Do you want some more, Declan?
Yeah, give more.
We want some more.
Football.
Phil's
Fourth
far more
quarter.
excited than
Fourth
you
quarter.
are. Yep. Play 4. We got to play 4 quarters. Linebacker. The third linebacker right now appears to be free agent signing Nick Vigil. So it's Barr, Kendricks, Vigil. Barr did not practice, and this is a little bit mysterious. So he had a Veterans Day off last week on Wednesday, came back and practiced in full on Thursday. So, okay, cool. That's fine. Disappeared completely Friday and Saturday. Didn't see him on the sideline. Didn't see him at all. Don't know what's wrong. And the linebacker who bumped up from the second team then to take his place, Ryan Conley, who I believe is from Eden Prairie. Okay. So the three guys that they used in the base defense on Saturday with the first team were Conley, Kendricks, Vigil.
Sounds like a country band.
It does, doesn't it?
Barr, Kendricks, Vigil. Yeah, it really does.
And Conley does too. Mm-hmm. Conley sounds like one.
Yeah.
All right.
Dynamite analysis by us right there.
Oh, it's fantastic. That's why you come. That's why Surly's paying the big bucks. Be like, yeah, sounds exactly like a country band. Punt returns. Punt returns minus D.D. Westbrook. Because we all recall that the Vikings had about 5 yards in total punt returns last season.
Cool.
Yeah,
back at another stab at it, KJ Osborne, who, by the way, I think might be more comfortable now. Like KJ Osborne, he looked, how can I put this, uptight all of last year. He's a rookie. The pressure's getting to him. I think that's going to change. And Amir Abdullah, assuming he makes the team.
So
and Westbrook will eventually, but I don't know when.
So part of the reason they signed D.D. Westbrook was because they were a little bit on KJ Osborne, right? That
yes.
Oh man, maybe he just wasn't the player that we thought.
This could change.
Is Osborne just going to reclaim both of these spots on the wide receiver sort of depth chart and the return jobs? I mean, what sort of let's say KJ Osborne just checks those boxes after watching him for training camp, a month in training camp. You know, would they? Yeah. Did they guarantee D.D. Westbrook's contract? Is he just on the team almost?
I think he's
no
just on.
What?
I think without checking it out right now, I believe he just signed a contract, but I don't think it's guaranteed till week 1.
Okay.
So yes,
I think they should keep him because I think if he can get back to where he was before the injury, then obviously you would take that player.
What's left? More questions?
No, I think that's
quarterback
a great
questions.
Trip.
Anything like that?
Well, I think the quarterback question would be: is there any way Kellen Mond can overtake Jake Browning as the backup quarterback at this point?
Still not back.
I know, that's my point. Like he's
and I counted it. So he went out a week ago Saturday. 10 days is tomorrow. Is that right? Tuesday. 10 days, and that's if he tests negative, I believe, twice. And so according to what the Vikings said last week, he was sick. So we don't know when he returns. So I think this is done. Cousins, Browning, Mond.
And so they'll just roster 3 quarterbacks, right? And then
Yes.
Mond will just be sort of the practice squad, not the practice squad, but like the scout team third string guy.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way that they would. He's on the roster, right? They're not just going to be bored with a third round pick and just be
No,
like,
hell no.
Okay, I was
Mond's
gonna
on the
say.
roster. No.
You
He's the
never
third
know.
guy.
You don't know, but yeah,
But I mean,
that makes sense.
when camp started, before he got sick, I thought, could he compete to be the backup? And I thought, probably not, right? Like, odds were no. Now, that's gone. He is going to be the third guy. He is not going to play. He's going to have a spot on the 53 with zero responsibility beyond basically trying to learn. That's it.
Interesting. So that is Judd Zulgads, and you can find the full depth chart on scorenorth.com as Judd sees it. And follow his video coverage on Score North Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter,
Cheers to you,
Facebook
boys.
as well. We're going to get to a new Monday Judd segment here in a second. But, boys, I found this story this morning.
Football.
It is the most football-y football story I've seen all camp and maybe even all year so far. And I think this has been an issue for the Vikings at times as well. And this story is presented by Chill Boys and chillboys.com, the most comfortable boxers and boxer briefs
Got mine on.
the 3 of us have ever worn. And you'll find out why this article is sponsored by Chill Boys when I read it to you. 49ers quarterbacks are working through Alex Mack sweat issue, Kyle Shanahan says.
Oh, no.
The quarterback center exchange usually goes unnoticed until there's an issue, and 2 weeks into 49ers camp, there appears to be a problem. It's not that offseason acquisition Alex Mack is having timing issues with Jimmy G. It's that the 35-year-old Mack is sweating too much. Yes, he's perspiring too much. As NBC Sports Bay Area's Jennifer Lee Chan pointed out on Saturday, Alex Mack started to tuck a towel inside his pants on the backside to combat sweat that's making it hard for Garoppolo to grip the football. The issue has become so noticeable that Kyle Shanahan, who coached Mack in 2014 with the Browns and with the Falcons in 2016, was asked about it after practice on Sunday and admitted the veteran center has always dealt with this issue. Quote from Shanahan, Yeah, he works hard out there and has a little bit of a sweating issue. We need a beach towel. The quarterbacks are working through that. Well, maybe he should try Chill Boys bamboo fabric. Keep everything nice, cool, calm, and collected and dry during these sweltering training camp months. Chillboys.com if you want to find out what's all the rage with our Purple Daily audience.
As an old guy who sweats himself, I can tell you right now, Chill Boys at training camp, absolutely huge. Huge, because it's so nice and cool, Declan.
Yeah, as someone who is now, knocking on the door of being 30 here in a year and a half, I just now sweat finally. I finally became a man. It just took 28 years, and I just sweat for no reason.
Yeah.
With limited activity. And if I can have a nice pair of Chill Boys underneath there, with whether that's the bamboo or the performance brand, which I have on right now, that will make life a lot easier. So, Chill Boys, check them out.
The bamboo, man. I love the bamboo so much.
Chillboys.com. So apparently,
yeah.
Matt Ryan used to have Alex Mack change his pants after every quarter. But, quote, it doesn't stay dry too long. It's part of football, Shanahan said.
So wait, describe to me, go back and describe. So Alex Mack is putting a towel down his pants on his backside?
On the backside, yeah.
To try and serve as a sweat diaper?
That is correct.
That is accurate, yes.
Yes. There's not something he could, there's not some sort of, couldn't you wear Depends or something? Wouldn't Depends help fix this?
He should call Chill Boys. He should call Chill Boys. They could probably design something for him. I'm not kidding.
I know.
Baby powder?
No, but you would start to sweat again.
Sure, he's tried these things.
Right.
That is, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
He's a good center, too.
Anyways, let's debut a new Monday segment here called Surly, You Must Be Furious with Judd Zulgad, where every Monday, Judd, who likes to, some people call Judd negative. I think he's been Mr. Positive compared to Declan and I the last couple of weeks. But something that is stuck in your craw, a chance for you to vent about something Vikings related here. Surly, you must be furious.
Okay, so yesterday, Hall of Fame induction class of 2021, okay? First guy inducted that I watched on the telecast, a former Dallas Cowboy by the name of Drew Pearson. And of course, they talked about Drew Pearson's career, and it's a fantastic career. And they went through the litany of highlights of those great Cowboy teams, Staubach to Pearson, and they saved, I think, for one of the last clips, the dubbed by Staubach himself Hail Mary pass at Met Stadium 1975 playoffs against Nate Wright and the Vikings. And they gave you a highlight clip of that play, gents, that was pretty damn good. Like it looked like it was, I think, from the field, you could see all the machinations of what was going on. And I'm going to tell you right now, I am not a homer. I often hate when fans complain about the referees cost us the game. It's not fair. That's not true. Everybody thinks that. But when I watch that play again, if you watch Drew Pearson, sort of subtly, but very obviously, take his hand and swipe Nate Wright out of the way right before he caught the ball, and the flag is thrown. The flag, gentlemen, is thrown. And you're thinking, OPI, right? They call Nate Wright, who basically was more a victim than anything, they call him for defensive pass interference on a play in which Drew Pearson catches the ball, goes into the end zone, and according to many who know Vikings history going back to then, and the opportunity for what might have been their best team in the 70s, and by the way, 4 of them went to Super Bowls, and the opportunity for them to go to the Super Bowl. Yeah. That is why, Surly, I must be furious.
I am furious.
Call.
I am furious, and don't call me Surly if anyone has watched the greatest comedy of all time, Airplane. So this was widely regarded as, I think, this and the 98 team, like the what could have been Viking seasons, right? The 1975 Vikings, so they finished 12-2 in the regular season. They only played 14 games back then in the regular season. The average score of a Vikings game that year was Vikings 27, opponents 12. They held opponents to 12 points a game, the Purple People Eaters. I mean, this was like the peak of the Purple People Eaters. And they went to at least one Super Bowl after 1975, maybe 2 of them. Can't remember the timeline. So, and this is the MVP that season was Fran Tarkenton. I mean, this was like everything coming together for the Vikings. The defense was amazing. The NFL MVP was Fran Tarkenton. They're playing a home playoff game. I think they might have had home field throughout the playoffs too. The Rams also finished 12-2. And of course, like, were there other things in that game that they could have done? I don't know. I'd never watched the full game before. Like, did it all come down to that one play? But it was a miracle Hail Mary finish to end that game. And, the way that here's the thing. If Pearson doesn't catch that Hail Mary, that iconic play for the Cowboys, who went on to go to the Super Bowl and lost to the Steelers that year. So it helped propel them to a Super Bowl game. Does he get in the Hall of Fame without that play? Because I don't think he does. I think he was so borderline for 30 years, right?
Yes. No, he does not. He does not. And that play, but the thing that drives me crazy about that play in particular, it's 1975. They didn't call anything back then.
Yeah.
Like that's that, and it went both ways, and the receiver shoved him. He basically took him and tossed him aside, okay? Now, it's not a fall down obvious penalty, but if you're watching that, if you're the official, you see that. But the fact that it's just such a bad call. It's such a lousy call. And the flag coming out was like, oh, okay, they saw it. And it's like they got the Vikings defender. It's ridiculous. So anyway.
So Drew Pearson, I was thinking the whole time too, I'm like, that's a great speech, man. Congratulations. Love that your family's here. You pushed off, buddy. You pushed off.
He did.
Your entire career and your bust, your gold jacket, it's all built on a fraudulent play.
A fraudulent play that the National Football League still to this day celebrates. One quick thing, too. Hall of Fame speeches, okay? I like limiting the majority of people. Ray Lewis went for 33 minutes, and they said no more. I get all that, okay? But when Peyton Manning goes into the Hall of Fame, and he's one of the greatest players of all time, let's not hold those guys to the same standard as everybody else.
You know what? I got to say.
Let's give Peyton a little more time.
I am pro Peyton Manning. Declan hates him. I am also pro 10 to 12 minute time limit on these Hall of Fame
It was
speeches.
8 minutes, though.
I'm fine with that.
Give Peyton 12.
It was 3 minutes of stand-up comedy.
I want more.
It was 3 minutes of reflection. And
Poor guy was talking so fast because he knew he had no time.
It was great. He was very nervous beforehand, too. You could tell he was sort of muttering to himself.
Let's draw lines. You are a Hall of Fame player, but you weren't that good. 8 minutes for you.
Drew Pearson.
You were awesome.
Dude, it took you 30 years and you pushed off. We'll give you 4 minutes.
Yeah, exactly right. You were awesome. 15 for you. I'm just suggesting it. Tom Brady's going to get 8 minutes?
Yeah. No, I hear you, but
Come on.
I think he could have stretched it to 10 or 12. They weren't going to play the music and like lower the microphone.
He certainly thought they were going to. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Peyton, what did I say? Tom Brady's Peyton.
Yeah,
Manning.
he's Peyton. But I'm just saying. You know what? Eli, if he goes in, 8 minutes.
Who's the next Vikings player? So Steve Hutchinson went in.
Jared
Cheers to
Allen.
Steve Hutchinson.
That's a good question. I have to look.
Jared was a finalist, right? So he's knocking on the door.
Yeah, he'll probably go in.
Jared will.
Antoine
probably go
Winfield,
in.
Antoine Winfield get any?
I don't think.
it's gonna
No,
take a- it would
I don't think
take
he's a
a
Hall
lot.
of Fame player.
Yeah.
He's great. I loved him, but I don't
very
think
good,
he's
but
a.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of anyone else from that era. I mean, Kevin Williams probably won't
Nope.
get in.
He won't get in.
Not glamorous enough.
He was
So
close, but not good enough.
So it's Jared Allen and then Justin Jefferson.
Yeah,
Jefferson.
who's the next slam dunk Viking?
Well, Stephon Diggs might actually have a chance. but
Actually, you know who it
a lot
is?
of his numbers are Buffalo.
AP.
Oh, you're right.
Oh,
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
He's a slam dunk.
But he's still. I mean, he's not on a roster right now. But you know,
What's he doing?
He'll get picked
What's
up
he
by
doing?
somebody.
Come on, man.
Maybe Matt Burke.
Is Burke a Hall of Famer?
I think he would have been in. Wouldn't he have gotten more
That's
love by
true.
now?
Yeah,
That's true.
his speech might be too much for them to handle anyway.
I think he would have a lot to say that goes beyond 8 to 10 minutes. Which
Yeah.
we'll get there when we get there. But that's a wrap on today's episode of Purple Daily, presented by Surly Brewing Company. Tomorrow, we're back at it again. Judd's going to be providing daily training camp updates. The Vikings have their first preseason game this upcoming weekend. So a lot to get to. And thanks for supporting our sponsors, whether it's Surly, the Furious that you're drinking. We're just going to replace Judd's head with a can of Surly Furious, actually. That's what's going to happen.
You know what?
It's going to be great.
It might be more attractive. It might be more attractive.
Transplant.
It might be more attractive. Hello, guys. What's going on?
All right. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Purple Daily. We'll see you guys tomorrow.